Welcome to Place and Experience. Indulge your senses with immersive game titles. Boost the excitement with our engaging promotional tools and generous network promotions. Be in control with XI Viewport Management Tool and experience seamless gameplay powered by X Platform. Enjoy Place and Experience as our partners do in over 20 regulated markets. And get ready to go big. Big play is on. Placent.
Well, there you have it, and welcome once again to your weekly news with Next.io, bringing you the biggest headlines in iGaming, whether you want them or not. I am, of course, joined by my fabulous co-host, the one and only CEO of Bet It Best, Mr. Nico Jansen. Nico joins us live from Munich. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good and awesome. Just give me 1 second for a special effect, something I prepared, and just as I said, just hold your horses. 1 second.
What's he got planned, ladies and gentlemen? I dread to think he's left me here on my own with no co-host. It's a sad moment, but he's back. What have you got for us, Nico?
You gotta pay respect when respect is due. And once again, shout out to the English football team who finally found their mojo and delivered a great and astonishing win against the Netherlands, the Dutch national team. And fingers crossed, and it's looking very, very promising that we will see a decent and great final of the Euros 2024 this Sunday. So once again, shout out to my friends in the UK. You will be a well-deserved winners. And yeah, that's it for now.
Yes. Well, technically, Nico, that's the wrong flag, but you tried your best and we appreciate you for trying. So it actually puts me in a bit of a difficult situation, this England victory last night, because of course, I'm from England and I live in England. And, broadly speaking, sure, why not? I support the England football team. It's nice to see them do well. But as you know, Nico, I've had a bet on Spain winning the Euros since before the tournament started. And the bet's looking pretty healthy at the moment. They're offering me a pretty nice cash out on it. And I'm struggling to work out whether to live up to my nickname of Cash Out Connor and take the winnings now, and then I can really support England in the final and I don't have to hope for Spain to win. So maybe that's the best choice for me. But Nico, I would really like just to be able to have won one bet on this whole tournament. I haven't won one yet. So if I cash out now and Spain win, maybe I'll think, I should have let it ride. I don't know. What do you think?
So first of all, cash out, because as they are playing the British team, the Three Lions, even if they would win, it can still be considered as dodgy money because you just won by not having the back of your team, so cash out.
Okay, well, I think after this episode, Nico, you're probably right. And it means I can put my full support behind England in the final, so that would be nice.
Exactly.
I don't know what's going to happen there. Spain are looking very, very good. I think, I can't remember actually if Spain are, I think Spain are a pretty slim favourite over England. They've performed very well. I would be surprised to see them lose, but we've been surprised enough times in this tournament, Nico. You never know what's going to happen. So let's see.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the major headline of the week. Of course, England makes it to another Euros final. And despite that, we've got lots of other headlines still to talk about. Nico, I believe you have prepared your biggest stories of the week. We're going to run through those. And then we've got two mega stories that we're going to discuss in a bit more detail afterwards. But first and foremost, Nico, nobody does it quite like you. Are you ready to regale us with your...
Born ready. So
10 and 5, take it away.
Yeah, full year 2023, Betfred revenue jumps 26% due to a Lotto Star stake. So Betfred generated a 26% year-on-year revenue increase, totaling £908 million in the 12 months ending 1st October 2023. And the operator's EBITDA also saw a substantial growth, rising by 72% year-on-year to 117 million. And a significant contributor to Betfred's growth was its acquisition of a 51% stake in Lottostar, which is a leading South African online betting business. The acquisition, valued at 184 million, hold your horses, contributed 134 million in revenue and 42 million pounds in net profit during that period. Then, being in the UK, Stephanie Peacock, named Parliamentary Under Secretary of State in the DCMS, so the Department of Culture, Media and Sport, shortly DCMS, has announced the appointment of Stephanie Peacock as its Parliamentary Under Secretary of State. Peacock said in a tweet on her X page, "It's an honor to have been asked by the Prime Minister to serve in our new Labour government." So what she will supervise is, of course, the gaming and gambling part. So welcome to the club. Flutter Boyd acquisition rumors boost Penn's share price. Shares in Flutter Entertainment and Penn Entertainment have risen nearly 5% over the past 5 days, following rumors that Flutter might join Boyd Gaming in a bid to acquire Penn State. Just remember, last month we talked about Boyd Gaming approached Penn Entertainment with a potential $9 billion acquisition offer, according to unnamed sources quoted in a Reuters report. Being or still staying at M&A, as Caesars buys sports betting provider Zero Flux. Caesars Entertainment has acquired Zero Flux Group with a view to further improving its same-game parlay SGP offerings. Quoting Eric Hession, who is the president of Caesars Digital, he's like, "We are excited to welcome the talented Zero Flux team into the Caesars family." Financial terms of this deal were not disclosed. Same happens during the Every Matrix seals an all-cash acquisition of FSB Technology. So B2B online gambling software provider Every Matrix has acquired FSB Technology, which is also a London-based but full turnkey sportsbook supplier. The all-cash deal is set to bolster the capabilities of Odds Matrix, Every Matrix sportsbook platform, and Odds Feed division. The acquisition is also expected to generate immediate additional revenues, Every Matrix said, while creating new synergies between the two companies. As said, also for this deal, no financial terms were disclosed. US advisory business divested by RakeTech in a $2 million transaction. RakeTech is making the decision to offload a part of its business. The online affiliate and content marketing company has announced an agreement to divest its non-core US advisory business in a transaction valued roughly $2.2 million. And the CEO of RakeTech says this strategic sale is an important step in streamlining our operations and focusing on our core strength. Now touching down on further reports, as Golden Metric reports second quarter record with 39 million in revenue. Golden Metrics Group has announced that it achieved record revenues of more than 39 million for the second quarter of 2024, pursuant to preliminary revenues estimates. Due to Golden Metric's acquisition of Meridian Bet being completed at the beginning of April, and both companies are now operating with the same fiscal year. So the actual numbers of 39 million represent the result of both companies. Now heading over to the US, as DraftKings are fined with $100,000 for inaccurate reporting in New Jersey. The New Jersey Division of Gaming Enforcement has fined DraftKings with $100,000 for reporting inaccurate sports wagering data. These inaccurate data led the operator to submit incorrect monthly sports wagering tax returns for December 2023, January 24, and February 24. And according to a member of the New Jersey Division in Gaming Enforcement, these type of gross errors and failures cannot be tolerated in the New Jersey gaming regulatory system. That's why you're getting fined $100K. Heading over back to Europe, as Italy's regulator sends new gambling concessions papers to Treasury. The Italian Customs and Monopolies Agency has sent the papers highlighting the rules for new online gambling concessions to the Treasury, following the framework's publication in April. We already touched down on that topic, but now it's official. The file transfer follows April's submission of the new framework for online gambling licenses in the Parliamentary Gazette. The regulator has agreed upon a 9-year online gambling concession fee for 7 million euros, which is 35 times higher than the former 200,000. And still staying on cash cows, as Brazil's casino bill gets major boost by the finance minister. The country's Minister of Finance, Fernando Haddad, has backed the proposal of the country continues to evaluate the sector's framework. And we quote, "Minister, it is not possible that the whole world is wrong and only Brazil is right. So these countries that made the legalization and regulation with responsibility set an end to illegal gambling and clandestine gambling. We are not dealing with ideological agenda. It is an economic, social agenda, the generation of employment, income, taxes that will be reversed in projects in the essential areas." So maybe we will see online gaming, including casino, in Brazil as well, as it's seen as a cash cow, doing for or generating revenues for the greater good. So this is my 10 and 5.
Very well done, Nico. Yeah, good rundown. Whoops. A good rundown of the biggest stories of the week. Now, eagle-eyed listeners will have, eagle-eared listeners, I should say, will have noticed a couple of stories missing. That's because we're going to dive into some more detail now. And the first main story we have for you today is about Evolution, which is facing a strike from some of its employees in Georgia. It obviously has a pretty large presence in Georgia. I think it has around 8,000 employees there in total. But I want to take you back to the end of last week, Nico, where all this, well, not where all this started, but where we started hearing about this. So there's a Georgian news outlet called OC Media, which last week published a headline saying that at least 5,000 Evolution Georgia employees were planning to go on strike starting tomorrow, Friday, the 12th of July. The article said that the workers were alleging poor working conditions in the offices and gaming studios in the Georgian capital of Tbilisi, as well as allegedly unsafe and unsanitary workplace conditions, managerial harassment, and inadequate pay. So the workers were therefore demanding better working conditions and labour rights and higher salaries. According to that article, the plan to go on strike came about after trade union negotiations between Evolution and the union failed to reach an agreement. Bit more background on the allegations is that there was some stuff released on Facebook, some screenshots and communications which were allegedly taking place between company management, or were exposing company management for making all sorts of discriminatory remarks against employees. I haven't verified that. That's what the original article said. I don't know. Anyway, my colleague Sonia Lindenberg, a fantastic journalist, reached out to Evolution to find out what was going on. And on Monday, Evolution told her that it had not yet been officially notified of any strike action. So Carl Linton, who's the head of investor relations, said, "We have recently concluded a dialogue with the local union representing a smaller number of our employees and a mediator appointed by the government relating to a series of demands put forward by the union. We have not reached an agreement, which has led the union in question to make several claims in the media. We will always continue to follow the established local due process and applicable laws in Georgia to reach a solution to this type of conflict." And then Evolution added a statement to that, an official statement saying, "We will conduct an investigation to get to the bottom of the problem and take appropriate actions and increase our efforts to make sure that all employees adhere to and respect our common values." So this was the big headline at the start of the week. 5,000 employees going to go on strike. Would have been a huge proportion of the total 8,000. But in fact, we found out yesterday that actually fewer than 500 employees will in fact be eligible for the strike. So on Tuesday, Carl Linton followed up with Sonia to tell her that the list that the trade union had provided a list of employees eligible for the strike on Tuesday, and the list amounted to fewer than 500 individuals out of over 8,000 employees in the studio. "We do not expect any significant impact on our operational delivery from the studio," he said. And he pointed out that with more than 20 studios worldwide, Evolution is well positioned to manage operational challenges in any single studio. So at the beginning of the week, it looked like this could be a huge impact. Now it looks like maybe not as many people as we initially thought will be involved. But if we have a look at a picture showing Evolution's share price over the past few days, you can kind of see, I mean, who knows, Nico, not to say that the markets are rational and respond to these things always in the most logical way, but it does look like a bit of a dip there on the 8th, bit of uncertainty for a couple of days, and then on the 10th, we find out that it's actually a very small number of employees indeed. So share price has fully recovered. It's actually up 2% over the past 5 days. So there you go. Thank you for showing that picture, Lorena. Nico, that's about all I have for you on that story so far. It's developing in real time. The strike starts tomorrow, so we'll catch up on it next week probably. But what's your take on all this?
So first of all, if we would just compare even the slightly dip of the share price to what has happened back in the days when, you know, the short selling reports came out, when the dip was roughly 20-25%. So that was a significant loss which happened on the at the stock exchanges. We don't see this kind of dip as of now. If you just take a look at the once again at the share price, it fell from 1,120 to 1,100. So it's not even, you know, a considerably a dip, whatever. If you just take into account that by mid of June, the overall share price grew more than 6 or 8%. So it's all good. And based on this, I'm pretty sure they will solve it at Evolution. And yeah, we will just pretty much move on with all the other studios. But what's quite interesting is, and that's just based on the regulatory framework, while 8,000 employees in Georgia are working in the studio, they have more than 20 studios worldwide. Why? Because due to regulatory requirements, if you want, for example, want to offer like online gaming in the state of Nevada in the US, you have to stream whatever is happening in whatever you're offering in Nevada from a studio based in Nevada. And that's why they have quite a lot of studios worldwide, just for your understanding.
Yeah, and I also believe, I think Evolution has somewhere in the region of 20,000 employees globally. It may be more than that, but I don't think it's more than 30,000. So if there are 8,000 in Georgia, it's obviously a very important office of Evolutions. They're probably streaming right across Europe and the rest of the world from Georgia. So obviously a pretty big operation with 8,000 employees. I think that though, you know, the initial report, obviously the union wanted to kind of make it sound like it would be the majority of the employees all going on strike, and obviously that's not actually going to be the case. So there you go. Again, Nico, we'll keep following up on this one because it is a developing situation. So we'll keep our eye on it. But we are going to move on now to our second main story of the week. But before we do, I think we have a short video message to share with you first.
Of games, hundreds of studios, dozens of hub market partners, an industry-leading hub wallet, and just one API. Hub 88 is connecting businesses to a world of limitless content where the possibilities are endless. Hub 88.
There you have it, Nico, and thank you to Hub 88 for sponsoring this episode. We have already talked about Evolution. Next, we are going to talk about Betway and Supergroup, because it looks like Betway is going to be pulling out of the US. So Supergroup has decided to withdraw its sportsbook operations from the US following a comprehensive internal review. The operator announced yesterday that it will shortly begin the process of closing its US sportsbook in the 9 states where it currently operates. Those states are Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Iowa, New Jersey, Louisiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Virginia, as you know. But it's not all bad news for Supergroup in North America, because although it's going to pull out its sportsbook operations, it's going to keep its iGaming presence in the country. It plans to continue operating 2 iGaming brands. So Jackpot City, and I'm guessing the other one is Spin, in New Jersey and Pennsylvania, which are obviously very lucrative states for online gambling because they have online casino. As far as I understand it, Betway is also pretty big in Ontario and the Canadian market. So there's no suggestion that they're going to be leaving there. It's just the US. So CEO Neil Menashe said, "We have recently concluded an extensive review of our US operations, and at present, we do not see a long-term path to profitability for the sportsbook product." Well, I think we might have heard this before. The vast majority of Supergroup's revenue is generated in iGaming, and in line with that strategy, we will continue to offer our leading casino product in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. And he also said, "We are open to expanding our US footprint if the right investment or strategic opportunities arise." So they're not ruling it out for the future. They're just saying, too expensive, not enough revenue, not enough profit, not going to work. So there'll be some costs associated with closing those US operations, which we'll get details of in the next quarterly earnings call in August. So in a few weeks, we'll find out just exactly how much they're going to be spending. Now, as I said before, Nico, we have heard this before, and we've seen lots of companies already pulling out of the US market, and some analysts at JMP Securities have done a really nice job of pulling some of that data together about just how many companies entered the market and how many are still there. So this year we've already seen Evoke, formerly 888, and Kindred Group kind of entirely withdraw from the US market. But since 2018, according to JMP Security, 74 companies have entered the legal US online gambling market, and of these, only 43 are still operational. 43 out of 74 managed to last 6 years. Well, not necessarily, but only 43 have managed to stay since entering. So out of all those that have left, 18 have shut down operations. 10 are in the process of shutting down or significantly pulling back, and 3 have been acquired. So JMP said, to put this into perspective, the top 7 companies control approximately 98% of betting revenue and 90% of iGaming revenue. That's the top 7 companies. The remaining 36 active operators are competing for a small pool of players. Well, yeah, looks that way. And then JMP, in terms of its expectations for the future, it said, we do not expect exits to materially slow in the coming years due to elevated costs of capital, increased consumer protection regulations, and market share consolidating among the larger players. So not a very friendly market for smaller operators or people without a well-known brand. And to be honest, Nico, even if you do have a well-known brand in the US, it's absolutely no guarantee of success in the online gambling space. We've seen Win, Churchill Downs, Kindred, Betway, Betfred, Barstool, Fox, Fubo, Maxim. We've seen all these different brands that are pretty well known kind of come to nothing in terms of online. So yeah, JMP seems to think that the greatest chance to disrupt the industry lies in innovative product offerings. That's what it said. So whoever can bring the best products, you'll get the best results. And I guess that's probably the case. Nico, what do you make of this one?
So first of all, it's even more interesting because just remember when we're talking about the top 2, so the duopoly of FanDuel and DraftKings. So usually across the whole US, they own 65-68% of the market share. So it's just 2. So now rethinking what you just said, 89% is distributed across 7 operators, which leads to 98%. Sorry, 98%. So just 30% is distributed between 5 operators, which put them like, okay, you're having a market share of 6%. That's it in total. While the DraftKings and FanDuel, each of them has roughly 32-34% of the market share. And this is what you're going toe-to-toe with. First of all, you need to spend a huge amount of money as FanDuel and DraftKings, and we covered this topic so often. They have their own affiliate product with their underlying DFS Daily Fantasy sports product, where they can convert a significant amount of players to become actual punters. Latest numbers we have are based on the Ontario numbers, where they could convert 65-70% of their existing daily fantasy sports database to become actual punters. So you can't compete with these kind of numbers, especially you already mentioned like the big companies who actually pulled out, and we are still talking about ESPN Bet, Fanatics, and BetMGM. So these 3 companies, for sure, they are not looking for further investments as they have deep pockets. But as of now, they just can't compete with the Fanatics and with the FanDuels and the DraftKings on a going toe to toe, and also Bet365. Who offer one of the best sports betting product globally. They are also not going toe to toe with the big competitors in the US. So we just know that the US is for sure the holy grail. So whoever actually unlocks the US will have significant revenues, but it doesn't come cheap. And we are talking about hundreds of millions which you need to invest into marketing, and then it all comes down to the product. But if nobody actually sees your product, even then you will not be considered as a competitor for the two big sports books who actually divide the market just in between the two of them.
Yeah, well put, Nico. I think we're going to probably see more and more stories like this over the next couple of years. It's just too prohibitively expensive, and I'm thinking about comparing it to the UK here, and I suppose probably 90% of our market as well goes to a handful of operators between 365 and Entain and Flutters brands. That's probably more or less the whole, certainly a large portion of the market, and then you have a few others. Your Betfreds, we got their results yesterday, as you mentioned, in 10 in 5. But then you have this long tail. But in the UK, we have thousands of licensees, and I think the difference is probably that it's not as expensive to run an operation here. There's no, you get once you get access to the market, that's it. You're in the whole market. You don't need to do state by state licensing and all those different compliance requirements. It's like one set of rules, one country, and then even if you're only making a small market share, you can still run a profitable business here as one of the smaller players, I think. And in the US, it just doesn't work in the same way. So especially with brands like Supergroup and Kindred and Evoke, who are coming from outside the US, they're not US owned brands. It seems like it's not going to be worth them putting the investment in for much longer. That's my take, Nico. I don't know what you think, but I guess we kind of agree on this one.
No. We totally agree on this one. So two more kind of information from my end. First of all, in the US, being considerably the biggest market, the biggest iGaming market we see, only 1/3 are considered as being like the revenues coming from regulated markets. So 2/3 of the overall markets are coming from unlicensed operators, and this is also a competition which we see in the US as well. And the second information is, as soon as we will see the casino licenses in New York being in the runner-up, so you can actually apply for a license, I'm pretty sure that then even bigger operators or like huge operators like BetMGM might pull out of the market as well, as they need to spend roughly $1 billion to just get the casino license in the state of New York. So probably we will see some movement there as well, like we've seen with Wynn. As soon as they got the go to actually build their casino resort in Ras Al Khaimah, and then they suddenly pulled out of the market and were literally looking for a buyer for their, if I'm not mistaken, they had been licensed in 7 or 8 states at that time when they were looking for a buyer for their Wynn Sports vertical. But as said, I'm pretty sure we will see even further movements as soon as other licenses for casino operations will be on sale.
Yeah, good point. And it's exactly the same reasoning that Betway, that Supergroup used, because they said there's just no justification for putting our resources into this thing, which actually isn't working for us. So we're going to put the money somewhere more useful, and hopefully that will work out a bit better. So there you go. They're going to be focused on different markets from now on. And of course, I guess they're one of the lucky operators who does have at least a decent income from iGaming in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. So it's worth sticking around there for it. But there you go, Nico. There were our biggest stories of the week. I think we've pretty much talked through them. It's the final on Sunday. I'll be sad for the Euros to come to an end because I've really enjoyed this tournament, even though I've lost every single bet I've placed. And I'm going to have to cash out my only one potential winning bet because I can't bear the tension any longer. But where are you going to watch the final, Nico? You're going to have a few beers and take it easy? England.
First of all, I'm always taking it easy. But as Munich was one of the hosting cities in Germany, we also have a big fan zone, and I'm pretty sure just heading over to the fan zone, which is at the Olympic Park here in Munich, and I'm pretty sure, as you already mentioned, seeing the people, seeing the folks, they're having the best time of their lives, like the Dutch fans yesterday. They for sure had a great time.
Mm-hmm.
Besides the global leaders of the Scottish fans, because I've never seen anything like the Scots moving around in Munich. What a pity they didn't qualify for the finals, because this would have boosted our economy significantly. Has never seen anything like that. And once again, shout out to the friends from Scotland flying over, like John Gordon, founder and one of the founders and CEOs of Incentive Games. And once again, we are just waiting for them to actually hop on our podcast, and I'm just negotiating over some beers when they will come on the pod. But for sure, this will be very, very interesting as soon as they will, enlighten us a little bit, just as a little cliffhanger.
Nice. Sounds good, Nico. Well, on Sunday, may the best team win. Let's see what happens. But thanks for coming, mate. Thank you to Place and to Hub 88 for sponsoring. Thank you to everybody for watching. And we will see you here at the same time in the same place next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.